Anyways, welcome everyone. This is my first WalkScape live stream. I'm going to be playing the game, as you can see, should be able to see in the left-hand corner, while I talk about the game. So we're going to see what kind of pace I can actually keep up while I'm juggling all these different things. So welcome to the game and welcome to the live stream. As some of you may know, I make WalkScape content. I'm experimenting different forms to see kind of like which kind of content can be the most helpful, the most interesting. And so we've been thinking and we thought a live stream may be good. So one of the things I did want to start with the live stream is I've been doing quite a bit of mining. And so I have a bunch of mining chests I want to open. But I thought I'd wait just a couple minutes for that, see if people kind of pull in and all that good stuff. So I wanted to say hello to, I guess, the first two people that have typed in chat. Hello, unknown character. Hello, LDH. Anyone else who's there, just wave with an emoticon or write something. I'd love to know who's there and who's watching. Absolutely. So I'm on my walking pad. I'm going at kind of not the fastest pace in the world, but nonetheless a pace where I can make progress in the game. And I guess I'll get started with some chest opening. So for those of you that don't know me, I do a lot of mining. I've been mining coal most recently because anyone who's done any smelting knows that, you know, if you're doing like a Fargonite bar, for example, you need like 3 coal for every 1 actual ore. Thanks, unknown character. I appreciate that. I guess before I open the chest, I'm just curious, unknown character, how long have you been playing for? Did you join like recently? Did you join from the start? I know that there's been a bunch of people that joined second wave. I think the game almost doubled in size when wave 2 came in, a bunch of people joined. Oh, you're waiting for open beta. Open beta, or are you waiting for the next step of closed beta? Because for those of you that don't know, they have recently adapted the timeline for when the next step of closed beta is accepting new players. And in 10 days, on June the 1st, all those people who are supporting over Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, they will get their access. So there's a 15-day window from June 1st to June 15th. And that's the next step of the game accepting people, which is very exciting because I know that there are a bunch of people who have been discussing their desire to play, especially on Reddit, that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, unknown character saying I'd love to buy the game, I just don't want the reset. Fair enough. Fair enough. But the way I try to look at it is if you've ever played any kind of like seasonal MMO, for example, I know like Diablo does seasons, and I guess RuneScape does seasons. You kind of play for a period of time, and everyone starts on somewhat of an equal footing, and you see how far you can get. So I mean, this game's only like 4 months old now, right? That's pretty new for an MMO. So you know, that's how I tend to view it. I view this as a seasonal, and yes, when open comes, it will get wiped. I mean, most games you play, you don't play forever and ever. I mean, this game I'm planning to play for a very, very long time just because it's good for me, good for my health, all that kind of stuff. So this game is very special to me. So I plan to play it for indefinitely, personally. But when you look at your mindset as a gamer, like a lot of MMOs, when you play them for a fixed period of time. And so, you know, just from an MMO perspective, the fact that it might get wiped a year from now, it shouldn't be like a huge deterrent. Because if you are still playing a year from now and you're really enjoying yourself, well, that's a plus. If you're not, at least you've been playing the game and enjoying it, and you enjoyed whatever benefit you got out of it. But if you are enjoying it a year from now, then that will be an exciting thing. It'll be a fresh time, and like economically, it's not bad. You literally just have to pay like $3, and you're good. Don't have to do it monthly. You're just in. Anyways, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just just trying to tell you the mindset. Green light's wondering how many chests. I have 35 chests right now. 37. I guess I got a couple while I was doing some walking today. I took my kids out to the splash pad today, and I was the crazy guy stepping in the shade while they were in the water. So I did manage to get some more chests today. So anyways, why don't I go ahead and open these chests? Yeah, Greenlight's saying he's guessing one legendary, maybe. I was on the wiki and I was looking at the chances for a legendary in mining, which I guess would be the shovel axe. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it was like, I honestly don't remember. But yeah, it would be really cool to get something. Yeah, Unknown Character says, I'm feeling excited for the game. I might want to check it out. Yeah, you should. You seriously should. Like, you literally have no reason not to support and play this game. Like, it's like $3 out of your pocket, and like, if it's not for you long term, who cares? If it's for you short term, who cares? Like, just try it. See if you enjoyed it. Oh, Greenlight opened 40 agility chests and got 2 legendary. That's good. So you got the headband. I think the headband's the only agility legendary, if I'm correct. LDH says, if you could only have one legendary item, what would it be? Well, the legendaries that I'm aware of are the shovel axe, the headband. For agility, I don't know. Oh, but I think the foraging tool is legendary too, isn't it? Yeah, so that'd be good. So for me, it would be the shovel axe, because that's like currently the top tier tool for mining and wood cutting. So I do have one of those. I was fortunate to get one pretty early. But anyways, let's open these chests. I have the option to open one or all of them. If I could open them like 10 at a time, I think I'd probably try that. But I can't. So let's open all. Let's do that now. Okay, I think I hit the button. There we go. Let's see what we get. Okay, so a bunch of ore so far. All the goodies are at the end. All the epic and rare stuff is at the end. So here, what's your gear? What did I get? A miner's shirt? Okay. So the good stuff is miner's magnet, mining helm, mining beard, and a miner's shirt. That's fine. That's a nice spread. Like, I have all the mining gear at the moment from the chests, so nothing's new equip. But once the market comes out, I'm excited to see what this kind of gear is worth. So anything I get now is still valuable. The last time I opened, I think it was like 40 chests. I got a bunch of items, and then I got 4 miner's pants, 4 epic pants. So, yeah, it was fine. I didn't mind, but it was kind of interesting. So, yeah, the beard is pretty funny. And what's nice about the beard, here, I'll actually show it to you. Let's see. Oh, it looks like I'm full on ore. Oh, I'm full because I just opened up a bunch of chests. That would be why I'm full. Okay, well, let's run back to town. I'm just grabbing more ore, so back to town. We'll see. I don't usually watch myself walk across the map. This will be a new experience for me. Oh, did I do it successfully? Yeah, we're walking. All right, 594 steps. Wait, while we do that, I'll show you my beard. Let's see. Well, yeah, I'll show you my beard and then I'll show you my setup. So the beard is 4% double action. And what's cool about double action is it's not just like, hey, I'm going to have more chances to get stuff. It's literally working in overdrive. It's like, hey, I have a 4% chance to do everything twice. Get the resource twice, get the XP twice, get everything twice. So double action is pretty much the most OP stat in the game. So LDH wants to know, does travel efficiency decrease if over encumbered? Thankfully not. Thankfully it doesn't. So that's a really nice thing about this game. I was thinking today that it's a little weird that it doesn't. I mean, I think it's a great game mechanic. Please don't change it. But I think it's a little weird that being over encumbered makes you bad at gathering and swinging your tools, but it doesn't make you bad at carrying all this weight back. Anyways, I'm not gonna pick because I don't want them to change it. But here is my mining setup. I'll start with my tools. Got the shovel axe there. Miner's magnet is another tool. Simple magnet is another mining tool. And then I've got, well, I should have my backpack on right now. Right now I have the grappling hook on because I did some spelunking, and you need a climbing tool to do that. But I should have my backpack on right now just to give me more inventory space. But yeah, I basically just got a bunch of stuff that gives me lots of efficiency in mining. Yeah, I got 108% efficiency in mining, which is good. All right, so we're traveling back to town, dump all my coal. So LDH says, what equipment attributes should be pursued for mid, early, and late game? For example, percent chance of finding chests in early game. I would say the most important thing that you're going to want to do early game is definitely collect gear from chests. But the thing about chests, for those of you that haven't heard, is chests are 1 in 200 chance per action. So basically a 0.5% chance every time you finish an action. An action is every time you complete a resource task. So let's say I'm mining coal. Coal for me is 45 steps for coal. Every time I complete that action, I get a 0.5% chance to gather a chest. Let's say I'm doing spelunking. Spelunking is 161 steps for me. So that means that I have to do 161 steps to get another chest. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is if you're early game, you really need as much gear from chests as you can. This isn't like another game where all the best gear you can simply get by buying off the market or whatever yet. You need to get your loot from chests. And that will greatly affect your stats, your efficiency, all sorts of stuff. So you should focus on low action timer activities. You're going to want to balance it, of course, because you don't just want to stay with super low level mats you don't need. But you really shouldn't have to worry about that early game because all the low level actions, like level 1 through 30 actions, are all fairly low on the timer. And even the level 50 actions are very low. Like level 30 is coal and it's 45 steps per action on the minimum step. Fargonite's like 53, so there's a very small difference between it. Yeah, so green light's saying work efficiency, absolutely 100%. So, and for anyone that doesn't understand how work efficiency happens, is basically every single action has a maximum amount of steps it will take complete and a minimum amount of steps that it can be reduced to. So for example, if I'm doing spelunking, I'm going to use that as an example again. Without my gear on, without my efficiency and all that on, it takes like 300 steps to do it. With all my efficiency gear on, it's like 161 steps to do it. So efficiency is really key. So, oh, looks like I've arrived in town. Let's dump my coal. Okay, so I'm going to do a mining task today. I'm completely open to suggestions of what I do right now. Actually, it doesn't have to be mining. Does anyone have any ideas of where they'd like me to go in game today? I got to dump all this gear in now. It's going to take some time. Yeah, so green light is saying probably more important than chest finding. 100%, I agree. Because again, efficiency is going to make your action shorter, which means more chests, so that's a win. Unknown character says, I like the chess system, reminds me of Melvor Idol. Do you play that game? So, for anyone that doesn't know Melvor Idol is an idle version of RuneScape, just like Idlescape is a movement-based version of RuneScape, right? So people have been making knockoff versions of RuneScape for a while, and there's a huge genre for it. So there was an independent developer who was developing a game, and Jagex contacted them and say, hey, I like what you're doing. We want to buy this game from you. So they did, and that was Melvor Idol. So Melvor Idol is not, it's not an MMO. It's a single player game, but you can get on Discord and chat with people and all that. But because it's not an online game, you can mod it, and all that. Like you can literally change the entire game. So it wasn't my cup of tea because I like competition. I like getting achievements. Like I like being able to show my stuff. I like being able to show what I've done. I like the fact there's a leaderboard. I like the fact that you can say, oh, I want to catch up to such and such a person, right? So I haven't played much Melvor because I didn't see the ability to do it competitively socially. But Melvor is fantastically designed. The balancing, the skills, all that is really fantastic. And if they made an online version of that, I definitely would have played that. So Tertius says, honestly, I love how passionate you are of the game. Well, it's true, I am. And the main reason I am is because I've never played a game like this that makes my life better. I move, I exercise, and the game is also designed to be non-addictive. Like a lot of mobile games are trying to get your money out of your pocket, so they try to addict you. This game is designed not to be. So it's been good for me in so many ways, and that's honestly why I love it. LDH says, what game mechanics do you like in other idle games that you'd like to see in WalkScape? Well, the number one thing that I want is coming, which is the marketplace, right? Because once you have a marketplace, I guess I'm not going anywhere, but that's fine. My step bank can build up for a little bit. We can watch it build up at the top. Clearly it didn't work. What didn't work? I don't know. Okay, so LDH said, okay, what game mechanics do you like in other games? Okay, so market's huge. Oh, clearly it didn't work? It being non-addictive? Well, okay, let me explain. Okay. So I play this game, but the way you play this game is to put your phone in your pocket and to move, right? Like I have my phone out right now, but I'll just slip it into my pocket because really there's no reason to hold it right now. I'm not doing it in the game at the moment, but I should. So let's run to Spelunking. Oh, there we go. Here, we'll go to Seguin Hills. I guess we have 2,000 steps ahead of us. Let's do it. I'll stick it in my pocket. How's my battery doing? Good. Okay. Okay, so to play this game is you stick your phone in your pocket and you do stuff. So as I said, like today, my kids were on the splash pad. And yeah, I was grinding WalkScape, but I wasn't distracted. I wasn't consumed. I wasn't getting back into my phone to look for a timer. I wasn't clicking the next monster to keep going, right? So yes, it compels you. Yes, it motivates you. Yes, you have the drive to go, but it's done in a way where you play by not playing. You play by putting the phone down. Like the phone actually, it's easier to play the game when it's not in your hand, right? So yes, it is addictive in the sense that you want to go, you want to progress, but it's not addictive in the sense where a lot of mobile games are trying to keep you sucked into the screen so that you're more invested that way and you'll part with your money. So, okay, so LDH asked, what mechanics? So market, once the market's out, it's going to be amazing. You can like specialize in things. There are going to be resources that are valuable. Like I'm actually spending a lot of time gathering coal now because coal, I think, is going to have huge value once the player market comes out. Because when you're making a tool, you need like one log. No, not even. Yeah, you need 2 logs to make 1 plank. And then you will need 2 bars, which is 6. If you're making Fargonite, that's 6 coal you're going to need. And then you're going to need 2, like for Fargonite ore, for example. So I'm playing my game, even though the market's not out yet, I'm playing my game thinking I'm going to want money later. I'm going to want resources to trade on the market. I'm going to want to trade with other people. And for anyone that doesn't know, the markets hopefully come in the next number of months. It's one of the first priorities on the list. So hopefully that's coming soon. Anything else I'd like to see? Combat's going to be amazing. When Combat comes out, I'm probably going to focus on it. Because, you know, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to like train strength, dexterity, and that will be a requirement for certain gear. So that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to probably those 2 the most. Greenlight says, I want hardcore Iron Man or ultimate Iron Man. And then Greenlight, would you want a leaderboard for that? I mean, of course you would. If you're going Iron Man, you want a leaderboard for it, right? I think that's cool. I don't know if you'll get that because I know the developers have talked about wanting their kind of Iron Man version of the game to be kind of the offline version of the game. So for those of you that don't know, what we have now is we have the multiplayer WalkScape where everyone's on leaderboards and we're competing, and then we'll have like a market, we trade resources. But they're also going to have an offline version where you can literally play without internet connection, play the whole game, and that's going to be a one-time purchase. So you buy that one-time purchase, which is again the same business model of Melv or Idle. It's offline, you make the purchase, you can play it, you don't need a connection. And also they're planning to build accessibility features into that. So if you, for example, are some kind of physical limitation, you can up the scaling on it so that like one action's worth 10. So that's how they're doing the Iron Man. But I would also love to see it eventually be something with leaderboards that's optionally non-offline. Is a 99 cape a thing? Well, they have said that whoever gets the first 99 skill in closed beta will get a real life cape mailed to them. So that's cool. As last time I looked on the leaderboards, I'm pretty sure the top skiller, I think is like level 94 or 5, which is more than halfway, and it's in foraging. So why don't we see who that is actually? Let me pull it open. Leaderboards. All right, I think it was foraging, yeah, because I was looking through the Discord. Okay, so first place, yeah, it was Armisty. Has a whopping 9.5 million experience, and I think they're one of the top steppers in the game. So they're over halfway, right? Because level 92 is halfway to level 99. So this is the person who's the farthest, and I'm pretty sure they're even farther than woodcutting, which I thought which was the first for a long time, I believe. Okay, so it's the same. So I think it's a race between Nat, Econ, and Armisty, and they're both high steppers. So we'll see. So that, yeah, they're planning to do kind of the meme of a real life cape mailed, which is cool. So LDH says, how will the mats change once trading is implemented? Oh, the meta, sorry. How will the meta change once trading is implemented? I think a lot of people will still play kind of like independent style. I think a lot of people will be like, well, if I want to do my crafting, I'll get resources and make. I think a lot of people will play well-rounded still. But I think you're going to have players like me who don't play well-rounded, and I'll show you what I mean by that, who don't play well-rounded, who will really, really enjoy trading. So, you know, I LDH for my friend here in chat, he is very much, I want well-rounded skills. So if your goal is well-rounded skills, it's super convenient to gather all your resources because you're just building toward that goal. If you're like me and you're competing on leaderboards, you're going to have a few skills that are higher than others. And if you want something, so for example, like once consumables come out and food will give you like XP buffs, I'm going to want that. And so I'm going to be faced with the decision, is it more efficient for me to do a little bit of cooking to go with my mining to get more experience or not at the time? Once trading is out, obviously I can buy my consumable food. So I think that's a big thing that trading will implement. You have more choices of kind of what you're doing. Okay, so Tercy says, how does combat work in this game? Because I haven't seen much of this game yet. And how would hardcore even be without PvE? Yeah, so there's no combat yet. There will be combat. If you're interested in how combat will work, you can listen to the most recent Q&A on the WalkScape channel, or additionally, I did kind of like an in-depth interview with Shampoo afterwards. That's on my channel, WalkScape Tips, that this is live streaming from. And there's a whole, I think a good 10 minutes where I'm asking him detailed questions about combat. So combat's going to function a little bit like Final Fantasy or Pokemon. You're going to go into a split screen battle and you're going to use your moves and your skills and your abilities. That's how you'll do combat. To do combat, you're going to get energy. That energy will be given to you every certain amount of steps you do. And that's not just in combat. So if I'm like mining, I will get a certain amount of energy credits to do combat. And then you can go hang out on your couch, spend your energy credits, and then get back on the road and earn more. In order to train your combat skills, strength, dexterity, defense, you will have to go to specific points on the map and you'll have to complete strength tasks, defense tasks, dexterity tasks. So that's a little bit about combat. Tercy says the Emerald Cape would be cool. Like Wooks with his Infernal Cape. I don't know who Wooks is, but that's cool. Unknown character says it's probably gonna deforest the land as well. yeah. These RuneScape gathering games are not the most environmentally inspirational games in the world, are they? And then Greenlight says will be no combat in the game. Yeah. So combat's coming. All right. So here's me. Here's my character. I've been playing since day one of closed beta. I have 3.2 million steps. I try for 30K steps a day. I generally complete that Monday through Friday. Weekends, I often dip down just to spend more time with my family, my kids. I've been focusing on mining, but the task that I'm going to now is Spelunking, and Spelunking gives a split between mining, and we'll see how our progress is. How are we doing on our little walk here? Oh, 704 steps left. Cool. So I'm going to mine, which gives agility and mining XP, which is cool. I have done a reasonable amount of smithing. You can see this level 67. Just because smithing's really cool in this game. Or rather, should I say it's going to be very cool in this game. It's cool to make the bars, but it's going to be really cool because once combat comes out, smithing will be the skill that makes the armor. Right now, crafting makes fishing rods, and it makes tools. But once smithing comes out, that's how we're going to make our armor and our gear and our weapons. And so that's a skill that really, really excites me, because once people get into combat, they're going to be looking for high tier, high rarity crafted armor and weapons. And so one of my goals right now is I'm mining in preparation for smithing, which could potentially allow me to be a smither, which I think would be really fun. So Unknown Character says Wooks16 was the greatest RuneScape player. So I know RuneScape, but I know RuneScape from the really early days. I played RuneScape when it only went as far as Follador. And so my celebrity of the day was Blue Rose 13X. She was the first player to ever make Runite. Because back then, grinding, smithing was really rough. Like it took so much coal. Reminds me of this game. And so she would trade people resources like rune gear in exchange for like thousands of coal. They just have to like bring it to her. And so back in my day, that was the famous person. Back when RuneScape had a bunch of interesting ideas before the Wilderness was out, when you could PvP anywhere if you opted in. And then in high school, I was aware of Zima, because my buddy played RuneScape a lot competitively. And so yeah, he was aware of Zima, and then I guess Wooks16 must be like a newer era of player. I don't know if Wooks is the RuneScape 3 or old school RuneScape, not sure. Yeah, so Unknown Characters saying, so like maybe like Zima, yeah, Zima. One of my high school friends claimed to frame when we were in like grade 11 and 12. I'm 37 now, for those of you that are wondering, if you want to kind of piece back when that might have been. One of my high school things was that he had Zima on his buddy list and he chatted with him. So that it's funny how people get kind of credit for these kind of things. So Wooks played back then, yeah, cool. That's cool. I mean, it's great. He was the first person to solo Corp Beast. Cool. So I guess again that kind of dates me. I have no idea what a court beast is. The last time I played RuneScape, the most difficult monster was like the King Black Dragon. So that's but yeah, so he's a little bit after my time. Released around 2008. Yeah. I graduated high school in 2005, so after my time. Okay, LDH says step counting is currently linear. What are the pros and cons of changing the step count curve based on distance travels per day? I gotta read that again. Step counting is currently linear, yes. What are the pros and cons of changing the step count curve based on... Oh, okay, gotcha. So, let's say you're a 6K stepper. You get more value out of your first 6K than you would out of like 20K plus. Well, I'd say the pros would be that you can reward people that step less and make them even more motivated to step further. I guess at some point you hit a certain threshold that if the efficiency declines, like if you get less rewards out of something, then eventually you reach a point where it's like, it's just so inefficient now compared to the first portion of the day that I'm going to stop. Personally, for me, as a competitive player, I want to know that anytime I'm moving, I am getting just as much goodies out of it as when I first started in the day. I don't love daily systems in games. I mean, I know why they use them. They use them because it creates a sense of like FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. They include them so people get into games and play them. I've seen them talking about a system like that where you get more value for steps early in the day. I would say the best one I've seen that I like is, let's say they give you a certain amount of free bonus steps per day. So for example, let's say they throw you, every time you log into the game each day, they throw you 3K of bonus steps. So if you, so those that don't know, let me explain the step bank, okay? So at the top, here's the step bank. I can hold up to 22,000 extra steps. If I stop an activity and I get extra steps, it throws those save steps into my step bank. Then when I go do something, every step I take, I get twice the value out of it. So what some people have suggested is maybe when you log in every day, they throw 3K steps in your step bank, and that makes your first 3K steps every day. It makes your first step every day give you bonus. I think that's perfectly fine as long as the number's not so large that after you do that number, you feel like the game is a waste. So like say for me, if your first 3K steps, you get double. So you get 6K steps worth of experience for 3K. I think that's fine. I think that's motivating. Because 3K is a small number. Most people just by living their lives will do much more than 3Ks. And so that's not so high that you're still motivated, you can still keep going. So Torsi says, are you planning to become the Blue Rose 13 of WalkScape? Well, we kind of already have a Blue Rose 13 of WalkScape now, don't we? Back to the leaderboards we go. All right, we'll go to total steps. First place, we got Mr. Weasel, who's literally, I'm not even sure what exactly the percentage it is, but he's got way more steps than even the second place. So it's funny. So he's got like 7 mil. Fantastic. And then it goes to Scissor, who's at 4.6, and the next person's 4.5, and then 4.3, and then 4.3. Like you can see it trickling down, but there's this giant step between Scissor and Weasel. So yeah, anyone. So I was trying to estimate this in my head the other day. Weasel probably would need to average between 50 to 60,000 steps a day, like consistently, to have that much XP. And for those of you that know him, he's a great guy. He's in the Discord. He's very social. I was chatting with him. His main goals are just to have well-rounded skills. So his first goal was to have 70s in every skill. So we did that. Now he's working on to 80s in every skills. And so if you click through the leaderboards in like every skill, he's like in the top 2 or 3 in every skill. So pretty remarkable. Weasel. There you go. Oh, he's telling me you're correct about, I assume that's for steps per day. 50 to 60K steps a day. So that's fantastic. That was just him messaging me over Discord. So if you're doing 50 or 60K steps a day, like I do about 6K steps an hour walking leisurely. If I'm like really motivated, I can step on the spot and do 7.5K an hour. So Weasel's walking like probably close to 8 hours a day, which again is fantastic and healthy. I would say for me though, my limiting features for walking long distances are probably more related to my knees and my feet. Once you've walked so many hours for so many days straight, your feet start to feel it. Like one side of your foot just starts to get sore, and then you got to kind of take it easy. There you go. Green light says 12 hours. Yeah. Well, no, the reason why I said 8 is maybe because maybe he walks quicker than me. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, my spot. I was in the first top 10 for a while. Part of what set me back is I had a week where I was just really sick. And I barely stepped at all. It was like 2 weeks ago. So basically that set me back. So here we have Nat Blue, which is actually Flower Sifter. That's the name of his character, and Flower Sifter is on staff. He's also just always on Discord and fantastic. So I am actually rank 12 now, and I'm a good chunk of distance behind 5 pounds of Pez. So I am motivated by that, and I do want to get back up. So I'm actually trying really hard to make sure I hit at least 30K a day. So that's definitely one of my goals. Let me read some of these comments. Is the limit is 30K steps, right? It'd be crazy to dedicate at least 5 hours of your walking days walking, assuming 10K steps a minute. Assuming 10K steps a minute. Yeah. Well, a lot of us are really doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Green light's doing 30K a day. Yeah. Green light's top in agility. Let's show that. Let's go to first place in agility. So green light is first place in agility. You're 91, green light. You're almost halfway there, and you're a lot more experienced than Scissor. And the reason why Scissor is second place is because Scissor's the top miner, and he's doing Spelunking. So Spelunky got me to 5th place in agility. Just because it's great agility experiences. Yeah, unknown characters saying 12th place as a dev. Yeah, Flower Sifter. Well, sorry, I'm not a dev. I'm a YouTuber for the game. But Flower Sifter's a dev, and he's in 10th place. And you're right, that is impressive. But that's one of the things I'm saying about this game. The people who are going to be high steppers in this game aren't your traditional people, because your traditional people who are on leaderboards are people who know life a game, who sit at the screen and keep doing something over and over again, right? The grinders. Whereas in this game, grinding is moving your feet, moving your body. And so you may have someone who's at the top of the leaderboards just because they have a walking job, right? Maybe they're a mailman, who knows? Or you may have someone like me who, like, all day today, well, my kids, well, not all day, but for hours when my kids were playing the splash pad, I was stepping in the shade, right? Like, these are times where I just would have been sitting, but now I step. So, you can be a dev. I know like I'm on a walking pad right now. I know some people do walking pads with like a standing desk. So there we go. Oh, Brian Durack says I'm 1 step behind you in agility. Okay, let's see what that is then. Let's see what your character name is. The 2 and only. Okay, come and get me. I'm gonna be doing coal for a while. I'm mining just coal, so my agility isn't gonna go up anytime soon. So come beat me. Come past me. All right. Green light says July to August 1, get 99. Yeah, you are gonna get 99. Yeah, I think getting 99 in a skill first, definitely a huge thing to be proud of. Absolutely. So LDH says check out number 765 for total skill. Okay, we'll see how we can do that. Total skill. or total level. I guess that's what he's saying. All right. I am not very high. I'm number 530. As I said, I'm not well-rounded. Okay, so LDH wants us to see 765. I have a feeling I might know who this is. Oh, it takes a while to scroll through this stuff. Okay, it's gonna take too long to get there because it's only 10 per page. So I'm going to have to assume that it's you, LDH. Yeah, LDH is my buddy. We work really hard together on this content. We, if you watch this channel, you've seen him on screen talking about the game with me. And he's just a great guy. He plays the game from a different perspective as me. As you can see, I'm kind of focused on competition and leaderboards and all that jazz. And he's focused on that self-sustained Iron Man, basically cozy game. He plays WalkScape as a cozy game, which I think a lot of people will play it that way. So I think he's trying to backwards flex over his total level. So, all right. So let's get back to what I'm doing here. So I am spelunking. I walked over to the hills. So for those of you who don't know, spelunking is the end game mining task. It is the highest XP per step for mining. Just a little bit more than Fargonite, but not much more because they nerfed it. And in order to spelunk, I made a guide on this, but you need 50 mining, 50 agility, a light source, and climbing gear, and I'm wearing all that. So I am going to mine. So as I said, my actions required for this task are 161 steps. So this is not something you'd want to do until you're not really looking to get gear from chests, because you're going to get very few chests from that. But what's neat about this, you'll see this once this action is completed. Because the action timer is so large, this is one of the skills that gives multiple items in one particular drop. So you can get, like, for example, 4 coal, or the ores that drop here are coal, tarsilium, and fargonite. And for those of you that care, you get about 48% of your ore drops as coal, and then the other 52% is fargonite and tarsilium. You get a little bit more tarsilium than fargonite. So this is actually a decent place to get stuff. At my step level, it's a ratio of like 1 ore to every 43 steps, which is a better ratio compared to just gathering at those spots. But if you're after coal, which I am right now, then you're better off going to get coal straight from the mining spot above the town there. All right, well, this is what it looks like to live stream a game like this. You got your little picking away. But I guess we can look at the map too, right? Let's see, are there any questions that I haven't answered? What's going on? I think my streaming of the game might have semi-crashed. So let my walk pad go there, and we'll see. All right, I'm gonna have to restream go back to Discord. I have to reshare my screen from Discord. That's how I'm getting my game back into this stream here. All right, back in here. All right, I'll reshare my screen. All right. Let's go back into here. All right. We're gonna watch stream. Okay. There we go. That should get us back. Now we'll reopen WalkScape. Have my little step tracker there. I'll get rid of. All right. All right. Open WalkScape back up. All right. There we go. We back in. So we can get back on my treadmill now without messing myself up. There we go. All right. So let's get back to our activity. What are your thoughts on smartwatch integration? Okay, I'll look through the questions and I'll decide the order to do it. Next question is, I wonder how the anti-cheat works because there's an obvious one with manually doing steps. What about people shaking their phones for steps? Brian says shaking your phone for steps seems like more work than walking unless you have your automator on it. All right, I'll answer the cheating question first, and then I'll move on to the question about smartwatches. They actually combine. They actually intersect a little bit. So if somebody wanted to cheat in WalkScape, if they wanted to get a bunch of steps in the game, this has been a big topic for discussion. How do we prevent anti-cheating? Probably you would have to buy one of those auto swingers. It's like a pendulum you can buy off Amazon. People have done that for Pokemon Go and stuff. B, you need some sort of, you basically need something to move your phone for you. So for those of you that don't know, when a phone is tracking steps, there are about 6 or 7 different ways in which they get that data. It's not just like the old pedometers from the cereal box where you shake it. They can tell how fast you're moving, even just the pedometer, not even with like GPS. They can tell how fast you're moving. They can tell the velocity you're moving. They can see a whole bunch of rhythms. And the devs of this game have access to all of that data. So if you put your phone in a pendulum and it's swinging back and forth, or if you put it on a robot or whatever it may be to make it move on your behalf, and they decided they were suspicious of you, or even, I think they may even have an algorithm for it, they can determine whether it's natural human behavior. Because even now, like me on the treadmill, there's no way the rhythms will look the same. I'm a human stepping, right? So there is step detection, there is cheating detection. Oh my gosh, my game keeps crashing. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. There we go. There is step detection to detect that, but I think with the size of the game so far, there hasn't been too much occurrence of it. I'm sure some people cheat. I don't know. It's like 10,000 people. But I guess out of the people at the top of the leaderboard who would be concerned or problem if they cheated, there haven't been much of issues with that so far. LDH asked about smartwatch integration. Okay, so there are there are some games. So for example, one game I've played is Pikmin Bloom. Pikmin Bloom is a game made by Niantic where you walk around, you plant flowers and stuff. And one of the goals is to get steps. I have millions of steps in that game because I played it for a while. If I wanted to, I could go into Google Fit and I could create a false entry and say, I just took a walk and it was 1,000,000 steps. Pikmin Bloom would then pull in that data and it would give me 1,000,000 steps in the game. So with some of the fitness games they have now that take your data from Google Fit or Apple, whatever Apple's equivalent is, I'm not a Mac guy, there are ways to cheat it. So that's why, because they want this game to be fair and competitive, that's why they're developing their own pedometer system, where the game actually reads the data directly off the sensor, so there's no way to falsify it. That's why I'm saying if you wanted to cheat in this game, you'd actually have to move your phone. And yeah, shaking your phone with your hand, it's a lot more work than actually stepping or walking in the long run. Stepping is an incredibly efficient physiological activity. So what are my thoughts about smartwatch integration? I'm concerned, personally, I am concerned about anything that is not simply WalkScape using your phone. I am concerned with, let's say I have a smartwatch. I could figure out how to alter my smartwatch. I could figure out, I'm sure there's a way to hack your smartwatch in some way to make it count steps more often. I just don't know. I mean, that may be true, maybe not. But I just think that as soon as you start integrating all these things from all these watches, that's problematic. The other thing is, if you're doing all this smartwatch integration, you would have to build a bridge from smartwatches into the game. And so you'd have to have technical support for all these smartwatches coming from the devs. And already just with the same OS, which is Android, it's been complicated and difficult. I imagine if you're trying to connect to all these different brands of smartwatches, you'd have to do a lot of programming, a lot of troubleshooting. And so personally, for me, I would hope that smartwatch integration is built into the offline version for those that need accessibility features. And that way, they don't have to build in anti-cheat systems. If you want to say you did 1 million steps in your offline version, no problem. Go do 1 million steps in your offline version. But, you know, I also understand people want to use their smartwatches. So I think the devs are choosing kind of like pros and cons, you know, like what is good versus what is problematic. And I think they'll work on that and see. We'll see what people are saying. We talked about anti-cheat. Talked about shaking your phone. Yep. LDH says, I think what I'm looking forward to most is notifications, and I enjoy managing notifications via my smartwatch. I agree that counting algorithms should remain on the phone. Cool. Yeah, I mean, as soon as they add notifications coming from WalkScape, telling you, hey, you've just done so many steps, I would love to have a notification that pops up after I've done, basically after I've done a certain amount of daily steps. There's a notification right now that you can set to, say, for example, notify you after you've done 10,000 steps. But as far as I'm aware, it will only notify you for how many steps you've done since you've last opened the game. So, for example, I want to do 30,000 steps a day. I would love it if the game pinged me when I was done my 30,000 steps. But right now, that's not an option. It's only an option to ping me for how many steps I've done since the game was last open, which is still great. It's still huge. And I'm glad we have it, and it's good. But I just haven't found the current notification settings to be that useful. And so if they did that, if they created useful notifications, then yeah, you could feed it to your watch, because then you can feed all your notifications to your watch, which would be great. LDH says, Tercia said, I've seen people who use one of those gyro things back when people would cheat hacking eggs in Pokemon. Yep, they did that. Yep, so that's what I'm saying. People get creative when they want to win in their games. LDH says, are there quality of life features like that you have been looking forward to the most? I'm going to quickly take my chat, and I'm going to, we have a little bit of the chat cut off there. So there we go. Now the chat's not cut off. Let me get back on my treadmill. Quality of life features that you're most looking forward to. Well, we haven't had a lot of the quality of life features announced to us yet. I mean, I suppose like banks are quality of life features. What else? Quality of life. I mean, gear sets would be nice, like swapping between gear sets and sorry, I'm just checking the time here. So how long we've been going for? I think swapping gear sets would be really nice. So you could quickly swap from your mining to your smithing gear. Yeah, and LDH is saying action queuing. Yeah, so one of the things they want to do, like, you know how when I was going to Spelunking, I had to choose to come to the mountains, and then I had to walk all the way here. And then at that point, I had to then log into the game, and I had to choose what I was doing. Well, with action queuing, you would come all the way here, and it would automatically start the activity for you, which I think would be fantastic. So for anyone who's watching, who's been playing, I'm really curious what you are doing in the game right now. What action or what skills or what activities in the game are you finding the most motivating or the most exciting right now? Brian Durack says, I'm glad they added keywords to the bank. That made changing much easier. But yeah, gear sets would be nice too. Yeah. When you're swapping gear sets, because there's a lot of items in the bank at this point, especially if you've done a bunch of skills. Going through those gear sets and looking through them all, it can be a real pain in the butt. So, absolutely. So yeah, anyone who wants to post what they're working on, what they're doing. I've really been enjoying mining just because I've been focusing on that competitively. I do think smithing could very well become one of my main activities, but ultimately, I want to be a combator. So I want to be able to go to the most dangerous parts in the game. I want to have probably compete for combat skills on the leaderboard. So that's probably going to be my main goal, the main thing that I want to do. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to keep this live stream to an hour. It's kind of my first one. Wanted to test out all the technical sides of it. But I really, really appreciate you guys joining me today. Thanks for watching me walk on a treadmill. I see a few more comments here. I've gotten pretty much every rare farmable item at this point, and I'm working on collectibles now. That's what motivates me in game. You sound like you're in the same category as LDH. You're after those collectibles. And I think that when achievement drops, you'll be in heaven, because all of these collectibles you're getting and all that, that's going to unlock rewards along the reward tier. And I think a lot of those items off the reward tier are going to be very, very desirable, and they're going to have good function. For example, there's a ring called the Ring of Homesickness that's coming out soon, and that's going to drop with strength, which is probably a couple months away. And that's an example of the kind of things that we rewarded from the achievements track. So I think collectors will be happy. Weary Door says, I haven't gotten to play yet. I just found this, but I would hope in the future Apple Watch steps would count. I go for an intentional walk every day with my Apple Watch without my phone. You know what? Now that you put it that way, I could see, and again, this would seem unfair at first, but I could get behind potentially allowing Apple Watches, because Apple is notorious for, and someone could correct me here, but is notorious for finding ways to not let people kind of like mess with their products and adapt it to their own purposes. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. So if it's clear that the Apple Watch can't be cheated and it will properly give the steps to the phone, in which case, and I think that'd be fantastic. I just don't know how they could do it on Android. I don't know how they could accept the data from the hundreds of different smartwatches that are out there and be able to integrate with all of them. So if they can find a way to do it securely with the Apple Watch, I'm all for that. I want people to have options. I don't want to limit people. But obviously, if it's part of the online game, the online community, then it needs to be fair. It can't be altered or all sorts of things. Weary says, my Apple Watch shows me my steps and the GPS I walked after every workout. That's cool. So even if you leave your phone at home, I think that's what you said, even without your phone, that's pretty cool that it can show you your GPS even without your phone. So it sounds like it's got some pretty good features in there. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, anyways, this is me signing off. It's been a pleasure. Wow, it's got GPS and cellular on your Apple Watch. That's good. That's some great stuff right there. So it's pretty much functioning like a cell phone at that point. That's great. Anyways, thanks for joining me. This was my first step. I am considering doing regular live streaming. When I say regular, it might be like every other week, for example. For those of you that don't know me, don't know my channel, or don't know LDH, I encourage you to maybe see some of our devlog deep dives. Every time the devlog comes out, which is every other Thursday, we make a video basically taking apart the devlog, all the new things that are coming, giving our opinions, giving our thoughts and ideas on it. And it's just kind of a way to see what's coming in the game, but do it in a way where you're hearing other people's ideas, people who play the games. I play the game competitively. He plays the game kind of like as a solo adventurer. So you hear two different perspectives of how the game's succeeding or struggling or all that kind of stuff. Oh, there's my alarm coming up. Oh, great. Let's see if the game's crashing on me. So anyways, do check out our other content if that interests you. If you like the feel of this stream where we're talking about the game and how things function and how things work, then I think you'll probably like that content too. So anyways, this is me signing off, getting off the treadmill, and I'll talk to you guys soon.